My name is Karan Krishnan. I'm a microbiologist, researcher, product developer, and also lecturer on the human microbiome. I'm here today to shed some light on an ongoing presumption and assumption that has been happening in the nutritional industry, one that actually affects your practice and how you treat your patients for some of the most common and yet even chronic conditions. As many of you know, health starts with the gut. And with the Human Microbiome Project, we've learned more about the gut and how it relates to the health and wellness of your patients in the last 5 years than we've known in the previous 100 years combined. With that, treatment of the digestive tract and the intestinal flora becomes critical to actually effectively treating and mitigating the diseases that your patients suffer from. One of the number one ways of treating the gut is by the use of probiotics. However, what you understand about probiotics has been flawed. And in fact has been presumed to function in a way that it really doesn't. Probiotics are beneficial bacteria, but they have to be live organisms that are commensal to the gut. They live within the human digestive tract and they produce benefits for the human host. These are symbiotic relationships. Most probiotics on the market today actually do not even survive the gastric system to get to the intestines alive. And by the definition of a probiotic, if they don't get to the intestines alive, they are not a probiotic and they don't function as a probiotic. There are a number of studies that have demonstrated this problem in probiotic survival through the gastrointestinal tract. The other aspect of a probiotic is its ability to colonize the gut, reside within the natural flora, and conduct metabolic functions that are beneficial to the gut and the human host. Now, most probiotic strains used in the market do not colonize the gut. They, in fact, actually just pass through, and there are a number of studies that have shown their transient effect within the GI tract. Now, the third aspect of a probiotic is that it has to be able to fit within the natural microbiome and actually influence the microbiome to allow for the natural growth of your endogenous species. These are the species that you were born with, that you got from mom, that actually contain most of the metabolic function within your body. And in order to do that, it has to be a strain that is naturally found in the gut, not a strain that was once pulled from someone's digestive tract and then grown up in factories. These strains actually don't fit within the gut and no longer can function within the gut. Thus, they end up being transient as well. So the presumption that these multi-strain probiotic lacto-bifidal products with 50, 100, 200 billion species are actually getting in and reseeding your gut is starting to fall apart. We cannot reseed the gut with probiotics that are given through encapsulation.
There's really something important with MegaSpore, and that is in women's health. I see a lot of vaginal problems, and they're used to using things like antifungals, antibiotics, which all actually accelerate the inflammation and cause a lot of problems later on. And what it does is it calms down all the inflammation, and I don't see that with hardly any other products out there. This is really, for me, it's the number one with any kind of female vaginal problems.
I use MegaSpore in the Lifeline Wellness Center with each and every one of my patients and clients. I find that gut health, leaky gut syndrome, is at the core of why so many people struggle on so many levels. And MegaSpore has a direct impact, turning the body into a fat burner rather than a fat store, has a direct impact in balancing the microorganisms in the colon and therefore directly enhancing immunity. Powerful product. And one of the greatest things I've seen too is people sleep better when they take the product. So, MegaSpore, I love it.
A quarter of a capsule every other day in his breast milk. And then after he was about a month old, I started with half a capsule every other day, and then I worked him up to a full capsule every other day. We had him checked recently for his cognitive abilities as well as his weight and height, and he's scored above average in all categories. He is supposed to be 2 months behind, but he's actually a month ahead, and I really contribute that to the MegaSpore probiotic supplement. I really think that helped his immune system flourish, his digestive system.
I have been using MegaSpore for probably about 4 years now, and it's really been a game changer. When I talk to athletes about using it, I tell them, hey, it's like the Chuck Norris of probiotics. The one thing that I've noticed is with other probiotics, when athletes or clients ran out of them, they might try another one and then I didn't hear from them, but when they run out of their MegaSpore, they don't run out of their MegaSpore. They make sure that they have it. So I think that that's a testimonial to how well it does work. It's a win-win, MegaSpore and a healthy diet.
I was a former athlete in high school and college, and as I got a little older, or maybe a lot older, put on some weight and decided, I need to slim down so that way actually I can, add some years onto life. I took it, and after about 2 weeks, it was a lot more regular. Also, after working out, I noticed I was recovering faster as opposed to being sore into the next morning. I usually work out during the middle of the day, lunch hour, either doing Insanity or running. A few times a week, maybe some swimming, and instead of being sore into the next morning, I noticed that I was actually feeling better by the time 8, 9 o'clock rolled around.
An interesting case that I have is a young man who presented in my office with a history of ulcerative colitis. He was an 18-year-old man who had lost over 25 pounds and was really in significant pain on presentation. He had a lot of intestinal cramping and multiple bloody stools daily. We sent him home with the MegaSporeBiotic. After a week, his mom said that the bloody stools had completely stopped and that the cramping was dramatically better. She asked what we should do. I said we should continue for another week and talk again. After 2 weeks, she said that he was doing so much better that she wanted to cancel his surgery. So we agreed, the physician agreed to cancel the surgery, and over the next 6 months, his ulcerative colitis completely healed. Some of the leading digestive health experts in both the US and the UK are using MegaSporeBiotic. Try it yourself. Give it to some of your more difficult patients. See what you see. Give us some feedback. Let us know how your patients are reacting to the product. We think you'll be very happy with the results.